I think somebody's taking requests. Check. Mic check. Check. I think that's okay. I don't know how much. $5.70. There's a harp going again, but I can't. They started off with Silent Night. But it was more harp forward. And now this, I think it's a clarinet. I don't know my instruments. It is a beautiful song. And it makes you wonder how much... It makes me wonder how much art... I think this is the same one. Anyway. Check. Chickadee check, rickety wreck. How fucking loud is that? Man. I wish I could check my mic levels. Oh well. So... let's see here. Let's go with where we last left off. Where? It's so funny doing this. It's so funny. And not knowing. It's like the definition of solipsism. Like, is anything real? Oh look, it shows. Oh, wait a second. Okay. My guess is that the concert is over. Anyway. Was it here? Where we last left off? Yeah, right here. Okay. So right here. What is happening? That was a month ago. Okay. Oh, I also did. I wonder if I can pull this up. This is what honesty looks like, guys. Can you rise? Can you rise to my level? Bring it up out of the mire. I'm showing you shit that I don't even know what I'm about to show you. Private shit. You can't even handle the truth. I should have called this. I should have referred to this as. I'll turn that down. Maybe keep it right there. Roy there. I should have referred to it as. The truth voyage continues. I don't know when. I think it ends when I die. I think that's when the truth voyage ends. When I die. Not when if they end up like whatever. What the fuck ever. Yeah, so I'm giving you notes here. So here's okay, so December 2nd. Wait, was it the 2nd? I thought it was. Oh wait, no, that was an update. Oh, that is the one that I want. Okay, so this was after. Okay, so let's get it together, kids. Let's get it together, kids. Everybody. On the it says the 16th. It says right there the 16th, 11/16, which was before Thanksgiving. Which was before, so it took me 6 days, and it's like within that week of this whole thing happening. And go look at that. Apparently, 57 people wanted to see what's going on there. Like that's the highest of any of them. And why? What? I don't know. Who's talking to whom? I can tell you several things about this, and this is why I'm doing this. So this is the 16th. Within a week, I recorded a message for my daughter. And I have no way to confirm this, but one of the spiritual aspects, there's a spiritual, I don't know if she's a wizard or a witch, but there's this one girl, this other homeless person, who conveyed in the way that she speaks, which is in like a strange code of some sort, conveyed to me that it may be possible that wishing my daughter happy birthday on her 13th birthday was like it continued. Like somebody reported it. Someone called the cops when you see Tupac. Call the cops when you see Tupac. Is still out there freaking out. And what year? You know, when this all started in 2020, I would have figured, okay, how many more weeks of this? I would have said. That's what I would have said. How many more weeks of this, or whatever? How long is this going to go? And I could not possibly have imagined over 6 years. We're in the 6th year of this shit going on. Since 2020. And it's so bizarre, dude. So if you haven't seen that, if you're somebody in the CIA or the NSA or the FBI or an actual human. I don't know. I don't know. On November 16th, I was kicked out of the homeless shelter in Austin for somebody. Now, the full details I'm not going to go into because there's too many. But in the video, it shows. So here's what happened. Just prior to pressing play on the stream, one of the gang stalkers, whom I have referred to several times, the guy with the dreads, white guy with the dread, the weird matted hair thing, one dread, he's vegetarian weirdo, one of the enemy. Sorry, I don't even know him. You know, that's the weird thing about it, is like every silent, speechless person who is scheming to fuck with me is in the darkness is the enemy. He walked by and he said something or gave me a look. I don't know what it was, but I was just in a fucking mood. A white person. I called him the N-word. I called him one of the N-words. There's two of them. I don't remember which one because they're so phonetically, as words go, phonetically, they're homophonetic. And I'll just type them. Let's go look them up real quick. Where do we want to go? Wiktionary, right? Wiktionary, yeah. I looked that up. So this is one of two. I say N-words. There's two N-words in the English language. English, right there. See? Yes, it's spelled exactly as it sounds exactly as it's spelled. Niggard. Okay. It means, and it may be it may have origins in Scandinavia. It means stingy. These synonyms are amazing. Sparing, stinting, parsimonious. So, I mean, if you're going with the first adjectival, well, if it's an adjective, it's niggardly. No, niggardly. Anyway, a noun would be something you call somebody. A miser or stingy person. Okay, so I can't remember. I called him I either said that word to a white guy who was an enemy and he was just pissed me off and I just said it. Or I may have also said this one. I can't remember because it's not important. It's why it's things that aren't important don't get retained. This is the other N-word in English. Allegedly, it's from Niger, but there's a Yiddish. There's Yiddish origins to this word. The N-word. What people call the N-word. Anyway, I said that. Okay, and then I started streaming, and then you see what happens. Which was and there were embellishments to it, which is, if you watch it, I'm doing the same cycle that I've been doing for months and months and months on end. And I'm telling you the truth, the 100% honest, God's honest truth, to the point that it is, I think the problem really is that because people have had their minds mired in the communist mind virus of lies, that I think the problem is that it seems like I'm being too honest. And the fact that you can even conceptualize such a thing as being too honest, TMI, man. TMI, man. I mean, the name of this, I'm sure makes somebody uncomfortable. But there's no reason, linguistically speaking, there's no reason to think that telling somebody to pleasure themselves means anything other than to sit peacefully and listen to music. You know? Pleasure yourself. Bring yourself pleasure. It doesn't have to mean anything other than that. Language is robust and dynamic and contextual. Always. So, the guy, Cody, who kicked me out, the whole process was way longer. I kept daring him. I'm like, call the cops, get me kicked out, come on, call the cops. I sat there for over an hour while someone somewhere, I'm sure, someone pulling strings, using a fucking joystick, whatever, to drive people's minds. We're doing fucking whatever. I have no idea. But it was theatrical. And I didn't come back. I didn't. He went from, you gotta take a cool, he told me, go outside and take a cool off, because he was doing a flex, go outside, when in reality, it would have been, and what, criminally speaking, what they should have on camera at that place is evidence of the participation of gang activity by the staff within that institution. Like the staff of the homeless shelter participating in gang violence, allowing it, advocating for it, not interfering, and then also the abridgment or a violation of my God-given rights. Kick me out for saying words you don't even probably understand. Kick me out for speaking English. One of the guys from the shelter, because I keep running into them, all people that I used to know or whatever know. One of them, black dude, he fist bumped me yesterday. He was like, "You doing all right, man?" Because the word got around, like, what the fuck? Like, that guy got kicked out for saying nigger or whatever. And the black people who kicked me out, and then the gangsters who were all a part of evil, irrespective of their ethnicity. Doesn't matter. If you're scheming, being paid money to be a scheming ass, I'm over it. So the update is after this. So this was a month ago. I've just been sleeping outside, and I kind of feel like there's a providential aspect to this, because it's almost like not only was that place crawling with feds, and gangsters and feds, people who just and all the other aspects, the radio frequency shit, the games that they were playing with the internet there, and they're still doing here. Like, I'm not out of the fucking weeds. There's just a big part of my prerogative that has led me to not, like, I've fully accepted that I have the truth. Like, I found it. Like, I've got it. And sleeping in the fucking bitter cold. And it's, I think, it evokes history. It evokes history. And there's a lot of different ideas that I have been toying around with. I can't believe it's been a month since I did this. It really feels weird. And, you know, again, everything that I started to say, I can't remember where this left off, but it's all the same. Like, it's all, like, this shit happened. And now I don't even know if, so, like, for instance, here. And I know it's true, so I don't, you know. In terms of consequence, like, why would you go so far? I sent that through to my Uncle Dale, the only person besides the young one, besides the youngsters, but I don't know. Without talking to people, I have no idea. Somebody's putting eyes on things and not saying a word. And here I am defending the First Amendment to the Constitution by speaking honestly and telling the truth. 5-10 years into the communist insurrection of the United States. Ooh, I haven't done this in a while. The sun's coming out. The sun is coming out. The sun is coming out. There was a moment. But staying in 1, 2, 3. Why does it say 7? 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Okay. So I went. So on Thanksgiving, I told him, hey, buy me some beer. But I don't know. And in terms of whether that's even him, I don't know. It's bizarre, dude. And it's bizarre. It should be like, I'm basically like a vocal stenographer for what's going on in the world at large, because everybody, like, it still remains true what Marshall McLuhan told us in the 50s and 60s about media. Like, this stuff, the transmission of information at the speed of light, transmitting information at the speed of light is sorcery. And even though it's been over 100+ years since the telegraph And words, the difference between sound, the oral, audible experience, and the written text, what you read, it's still a profoundly metaphysical, spiritual thing that's happening. And Marshall McLuhan, if you go back and watch the TV broadcasts of him talking a late night TV show, people, like, we have to get our minds, our souls, our spirits, our psyches in the right place in this long process of adjusting to this technology, or else it's going to destroy us. And I think in a big way, what's happening is there's a breaking apart. And it's not a breaking apart for the purposes of destruction. It's a breaking apart in an engineering way. Whether the engineers are God, angels, demons, aliens, whatever. It's a breaking apart to look and find out how it can go back together. I do that a lot. I'm still dicking around with my homemade battery shit. And because I'm not a perfect scientist, I have to redo things regularly. But there's no reason to give up hope. And one thing I've noticed, one thing I've found, one thing I have really accepted in a profound way about the city of Austin, Texas, is that it isn't just, and this includes everything, every aspect of it is what I'm describing that I've experienced so far. And I have no reason to think that whatever else is left to experience, which there's a lot, like in terms of exploring and discovering the city, I'm like possibly like less than 10%. I keep finding things in this city that are fucking awesome. This place is not simply a cool city. It's like, oh, let me check off all the cities of the world. No, Austin, Texas is a magical place. A truly magical place. It's a weird place. And it's magical. Undeniably. I wish. Yeah, it is a desirable thing to be born here, to live here, and to die here. Undeniably. Austin, Texas is a fucking cool place. Magical. And here's one of the reasons why. Okay, so December 2nd. This was 16. This was 2 weeks. 16 to 30, right? I went to like in remaining fearless. Like, I've got the truth on my side. I don't care what you liars have to say. The truth will always win, no matter how long, even if it's a long game. Which apparently, time is on my side. Okay. I went to get my yeah. Okay, so I this is important. There's a lot of thoughts associated with this. So there are a lot of thoughts, thought forms and patterns. the truth being on my side, and therefore having the audacity to like crawl back out, like not being in that shelter with what I suspect to be people poisoning me, people, CIA possibly using transcranial technology. As a Gnostic anarchist, I can say that I acknowledge the very real physical possibilities that exist, and I have no qualms about recognizing verbally what exists factually in reality and what can be used, what tools can be used for the maniacal purposes of psychological warfare. Since I've been out of there, all of the, I would say, anxiety and paranoia, the type that makes me say things like bad words to people that I don't really know, has all subsided. So I'm like, there's a feeling that has gone away. And regardless, there was up to a specific point. In fact, that specific point is May 20th, 2025, was when my legal identification expired, meaning that I do not possess any form, any way of identifying myself whatsoever. And in order to, which explains very important stuff, which explains in part, not in full, but in part, the inability to obtain a job. So for the final 7 months of 2025, up until now, no ability to legally procure a job at all, without doing things that might be considered, which everybody's doing at this point. Everybody, all the people who were siphoning money from fucking COVID. Oh, there was a sheriff behind me. I guess he's not there anymore. He was just hanging out. Oh no! Don't do that. We went to a place where it is allegedly possible for someone to assist in getting vital records. In order to get an identification in the state of Texas, one requires their birth certificate. The day that I decided to do that was a day that was just after sleeping outside. There's something about cold that is, there is a mental component to it, but it's within a range. There's a range of temperatures where the human ability to manipulate to control their reality applies to like mind over matter. And one of them, I mean, just think about the fact that having your hands warm, what that does. that is psychological. That's the psycho-spiritual thing at play. Is if you're cold and you warm your hands, just your hands, what in the heck is happening? I don't understand. There's a sensation from being cold, like when you're cold, that it convinces you that you're warm just by holding your hand. Because physically speaking, your skin, which is exposed to the air, is what is experiencing the cold, and just warming your hands does not warm the rest of your body. It gives you the sensation, the neuronal belief that the skin, somehow the skin on your shoulders and in your back, it affects. There's a psychosomatic effect, and I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for it somewhere. But then there's also when what I've noticed is when it's like when the temperature is going down, as it descends 1 degree by 1 degree, and then breeze, wind of varying speeds, wind chill, there's a moment where, let's say 45 degrees Fahrenheit and 10 mile an hour wind. There's a point where that, because of the way your mind allows the sense of being cold into your head, you could have two completely different experiences with those exact same conditions. And I have over the past month. Like 45 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 mile per hour winds. I can bundle up with a scarf and a jacket and all the other layers and shit. Or I can say, remain in this, like, I'm not cold. Like, remain, I don't know, mentally warm? I don't know how to explain it. But it's weird. And the other thing is, like, when you do go over the hump of saying, okay, I'm cold, I'm going to bundle up, there's a cascade into, I'm not cold enough, or I'm not warm enough. Like, that's not enough. Trying to warm myself. Like, oh, I put on a scarf. Oh, I'm going to put on another scarf. Oh, it's bizarre. Anyway, so there was that night, and I ran into a guy. It's funny because I'm noticing more and more it's not just myself. There are other homeless people who are cerebral, like, with it. Plenty of them. And I think we're going to have to, like, just start working together. Because there's the druggies. There are the druggies. And I guess you could consider homeless a stereotype also. Like, just like ethnicity. You stereotype the homeless like, oh, they're all drug zombies, like Elon does. And like, no, those are just the ones, they make us look bad. There's black people, and then there are now. There's homeless people who are all twacked out, fucked up on drugs. And then there's the rest of us. And the tweakers have got to go. Okay. So this morning, so this was on the morning of December 2nd, 2025. I slept as a mouse being shooed by people in the freezing wind. Being shooed by people in the freezing wind. Because there was one guy who was very close to Comedy Mothership. It was like the block over or something. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was within, and he so what he said was, I patrolled the block. He's like, I know you look like you're comfortable there, and so I said, do you have any recommendations? I love doing weird little shit like that to trip people up. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, absolutely, I'll get up. Which is a different, because a lot of these security people are like, oh, you can't sleep there, man. You gotta get up. This is private property or whatever. Private property, get up, blah, 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 right? And I'm certain that experience is of encountering the tweakers. And them just tracking out, just freaking out. And it's always an ordeal. I can picture that. I can picture them having to, like, this homeless thing, like, oh, I gotta go fucking talk to this fucking guy. And when the person just hops up, I'm like, oh, okay. Hops up and grabs their stuff, like, totally understand. This is private property, I shouldn't be here. Understood. I'm gonna get up and grab just let me grab my stuff. Hey, by the way, do you have any recommendations for... Do you have any recommendations for where a homeless person such as myself might be able to sleep in this fucking weather? Freezing fucking cold weather, dude. To the bone. I can't. I'm pretty sure the wind chill got like to 30 that night. And I went to this place. Okay. I slept as a mouse being shooed, and it literally was. This is how I described it to the person I told the story to. Oh man! No, wait a second. Did I write it down or not? There were three things that happened. 2 or 3 things. I went to apply for my birth certificate. I had a meaningful. Oh, right there. I had a meaningful conversation with 3 fellow vagrants. We spoke of race, power, and politics. And at the table, okay, it was me. Let's say a table of 4, and I'm position 3. If you're sitting at a table with 2 to your left and 2 to your right, right? And then you go clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4. At position 1 is a middle-aged black man. Position 2, somebody who is a little older than me, but still kind of has his wits about him. And I'm at position 3, and to my left, at position 4, is somebody younger, a little bit younger. And there's a conversation being had between positions 2 and 4, whose race is white, with a black dude behind me. Okay. The conversation is basically, hey, do you remember this? movie? Do you remember that movie? Do you remember this actor, that actor, etc., etc.? Why is this the subject? Because the original Ghostbusters film is being played on a TV nearby. Okay. The conversation about, oh yeah, this, he did that in that movie, etc., etc., it turned into somebody mentioning Mel Brooks. And then from Mel Brooks went Blazing Saddles. And then my eyes poked up because, you know, it's an excellent film. Excellent film. The guy to my left, younger, he's like, you couldn't do that film these days. You couldn't do that film these days. And I that's where I got in there. I was like, I'm going to speak up for the first time in a long fucking time. I said, why not? He said, what? He's like, what do you mean, why not? They say the nig word about 1,000 times in that film. It is literally, and this is what I said. I said, Blazing Saddles was produced with highly talented black actors and white actors, famous comedians, famous black actors. It was produced for the purpose and intention of making fun of racism, of satirizing racism, and the way that the white hillbilly mind, in all its infinite stupidity, approaches the subject. And Mel Brooks, and who else did? Who else? List everybody. Gene Wilder. Let's see if I can do this. Come on. Come on now. Come on now. Alright, Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles. 1974 satirical postmodernist Western comedy film directed by Mel Brooks, who co-wrote the screenplay with Andrew Bergman, Richard Pryor, one of the greatest comedians of all time, okay? Norman Steinberg and Alan Euger, based on a story treatment by Bergman. The film stars Gene Wilder, Cleavon Little, that's the guy. Excellent job. The singing in that film, it's just a really good all-around film. Now, without sucking the dick of, because there's other people who ended up. Yeah, anyway, it's a satire of racism. It's a demonstration of Western racism, and like Western, like satirical comedy film. Warner Brothers. The film is full of deliberate anachronisms. From playing up April in Paris in the Wild West to Pickens' character mentioning the wild world of sports. There's other things that they're not getting in the summary here. Everybody should watch it, especially if you are younger than 30. If you're 30 or under and you have not seen Blazing Saddles, it is your God-given obligation and responsibility as an American citizen to watch it. Okay. The younger guy next to me, whom I would either correctly or incorrectly attribute to the generation of people who have struggled with this type of stuff. He's the one who said, you couldn't do that. You couldn't get away with doing that these days. And I said, why not? And I explained that it's fine. The reason, like, what is the real reason that you're saying that? The fact, whatever is behind you saying that you can't make a film like Blazing Saddles is why you can't do it. It isn't and he started to explain, like, well, we've become more equal or whatever, more equal than hiring like paid actors who are highly talented. The world of 2025 is somehow has progressed in 50 years. 50 years. 51. In 51 years is somehow more progressed along the lines of race than having a cult classic film starring Richard Pryor, and because they're starring Slim Pickens, Cleavon Little. I'm pretty sure Richard Pryor was in it, but it was written by Richard Pryor, written by a famous black comedian who's universally regarded as one of the greatest comedians of all time. You're telling me that race relations are better than they were then? No, they're not. And so I was insistent. I was like, you can do it, and we need to stop pretending that you can't. And the elderly black man at position 1 at the table, he spoke up and he said, you know who I really like? He's listening to the whole conversation. You know who I really like? It was Dave Chappelle. And he brought up Dave Chappelle. I said, yes, thank you. Dave Chappelle, even more modern. What did Dave Chappelle do? He said the Nig word on television. Constantly. He played amazing characters like a blind Ku Klux Klan member who didn't know he was black, making fun of this shit. Okay, what am I getting at with all this? And he and I had this back and forth, and I said to the middle-aged black man, I said, exactly. It was not that long ago that Dave Chappelle produced a film, or a comedy special, entitled Sticks and Stones. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's the most primal and primary truth about humanity. One of the most important things. Words will never hurt me. It's a Charles rhyme. And I was like, and we went back and forth about Dave Chappelle's contributions. There may have been a couple other famous black people brought up in the conversation, and I said to the black man, I was like, I was kind of like tuning out the white dudes to my left and right, and looking across the table directly to him, like, I want your opinion about what is really, like, what is the reason here? What is the reason that things like Blazing Saddles, jokes and skits like what Dave Chappelle produced in the aughts, in the 2000s, and then into the teens, what is the real reason that right now people are saying things like, we can't do that? And he said, and it was the most beautiful moment, he said, it's being forced. Fellow homeless, very well-spoken fellow homeless man, saying out loud, like, the reason all of this is that somebody's introducing it deliberately as a divisive mechanism, as something that is intended to cause people to distrust and hate one another. It is the policing of language. All of this stuff is being introduced deliberately, divide and conquer, and that's the direction that the conversation went. It went well beyond race, and we ended up talking about, the kid next to me, we got to a point where we were talking about cannibalism, like the fact that the ruling class are pedophile cannibals. And we were tit for tat on that, except for I knew, obviously, I had more references. I want to say I know. I have a few more references to things that can be researched than he. I was like, yeah, go look that one up. And I felt amazing after. I was like, I needed this conversation. I needed to have this conversation, to speak with to have a peer conversation about meaningful things, something that I've been deprived of deliberately. And I just felt this enormous rush of relief. And then the person who came, I don't even know. I then saw assistance from a person named Henry. I don't know anything about Henry. I do know that Henry was highly effeminate and very attractive. That's all I can say about Henry. There was a deep, like, almost lustful presence about Henry, who was helping me to get my my birth certificate. And I couldn't actually, it was strong. And was the person named Henry. I don't. And it was just a person named Henry. A beautiful person named Henry. Helped me. Henry was very thoroughly, perfect cap for the breakfast discussion. And then, yeah, I put all these stars in. I cannot deny my essential nature, nor can anybody else. I know what is true. I know what the present circumstances are. I know what role I must play. I know what is and is not my business. I am not Jesus. I don't know. These are all, I didn't mean to. These are all personal notes. I'm not even Paul. I'm not Jesus. I'm no Jesus. I'm not even Paul. McCartney. I know what has happened in my life. I know more than I ought to reasonably, based on observation of physical facts, which is the bizarre thing, is realizing how all those little bits go together. And eventually I'm going to just find, I'm just going to join up with somebody here in Austin who wants to who likes sleuth stuff. Like, why would you not want to get to the bottom of something like that? What else are you going to do? This is fascinating stuff. It could end the United States of America. My story, the shit, it could be a story that the details of it could be something that if the story itself were to spread worldwide, like, check this out, this happened, 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 this sequence, this series, these events in this order, it could be the death knell of the United States of America, because of the infinity of corrupt acts from people who are actually psychopathic, merciless, and unwilling to stop. Merciless. And it's bizarre. Tomorrow I will shower. I'm aware that in some cases, according to some persons or persons, being treated as I have deserved. Oh, I have been treated as yeah, I don't know so much about that anymore. Because when I think I'm out, I was running this through a conversation with my sisters, who were like, all of them, their position is, don't say bad words. That's it. That's the whole entire position, is don't say bad words. And in this theoretical, hypothetical conversation, it involves, okay, I see you where you are. I see you. I see where you are in that words hurt. I think that's something that's unique to women, personally. That might be worth looking into. Like, is there something unique about women specifically that causes a physical sensation of pain when hearing and listening to and interacting and interfacing with ideas? Because, and I've said this before, women are the primary consumers of erotic novels, the way that words affect and interact with a woman's mind is, I think, more particular and specific than it is with men. And so, there's a legitimate grievance, I think, that can be had and to be solved. Anybody who wants to talk to me. But if the situation involves, I can imagine talking to my sister Caitlin. I don't know why it's Caitlin. And again, some part of me thinks that she's smarter than everybody else. I don't know. Like she would be able to get it. Smarter than my ex even. She would be able to put it all together and then translate it. But imagine looking at a situation where I say you're correct, words do hurt you, these words have hurt you, and I do apologize and seek forgiveness, etc. But can you observe the consequences? Observe the consequences. Now, think in a very minute, specific way. How exactly have my personal words, utterances, the things I have said with my mouth and typed and put on a screen, affected you once or continuously or continually? What are the material consequences that your experiences are as they are held? And I think the answer is obvious. Like, it really is. It's how long has your mind interacted with words? Like the extent of your suffering as a consequence of my words is, it's within a particular finite place that involves emotion, essentially, and nothing else. Now, turn it around. What has been the material consequence of those who have responded to my words? And is it equal? If you believe in equality, is it equal? Because I can tell you for sure, I have certainly continuously and continually suffered emotionally over the past 6 years. But beyond my emotional struggles, there's been quite a bit more physical, material consequences to me posting a George Floyd banner, and then refusing to not say, and then, and it all goes back. It's all still up there. I in fact, I don't even know if there might have been. Hold on. You know what? Never mind. I shouldn't be doing this. This is Google Keep, by the way. Still amazing. The 4 blasphemies: money, language, race, and sex. Man. Anyway, there's one more thing I'm going to read, then I'm going to stop doing this. Oh yeah, I started applying for jobs. Okay. And I made a cover letter on Indeed. I'm going to read this because I copy-pasted it just so I'd have a record of it. I have lived in Austin, Texas, unhoused for the duration of 2 years. My life has offered a unique perspective into our changing world. I am gifted in one way, specifically the English language. I have contributed dozens of hours interacting with Grok and Gemini over the past 2 years. I am certain that my means and methodology of contributing to their sapience is a net asset to all of humanity, irrespective of my illusory digital facade. It's another important thing. I started off my career with internet. See, there's some people who are just slightly younger who don't have a reference for life without the internet. And then there are people who are my age and older who have, if their minds aren't, like, what causes forgetfulness? Because I know you can remember what it was like to not have the internet and to not have phones. I know that. The possibility of remembering what it was like to not have a fucking computer in your pocket to look at, to watch, to fucking stick in your... So our generation is the fulcrum between worlds. And then people who are really older definitely remember. I like talking to them, actually. Like, because there's a realness to their experience and what they can testify, give testimony about. I'm seeking only the right and the ability to contribute to the well-being of humanity, and I have no patience for those things which we must regard as petty, such as culture wars. Humanity is one. I am human. Please allow me the opportunity to demonstrate my humanness, and I thank you. And I might make a video resume. Okay, I gotta go. Oh, I forgot this part. Hold on.